Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bailey Evan. Please subscribe. I never plug myself, but I would love it if you subscribed. Today I thought it'd be fun to recreate some famous, iconic restaurants, good eats basically. And first up, we're gonna do Doubletree cookies, but stay tuned because we also have Shake Shack cheese sauce and Disney's Dole Whip. So we'll see how it goes. And I have everything ready. Guys, I'm gonna share some tips that really helped me out in my baking journey. And one of the first things is making sure you have your little ingredients all set out and ready to go. First of all, it looks really cute, and partially that is why they're in nice bowls. I wouldn't normally do it this way. But having your mise en place all measured out and ready to go makes it so you're not gonna screw up and forget an ingredient. And you're just it just simplifies the process. And I actually already softened some butter. And I have a hack for that too, guys. I put the butter 2-6 between press and seal, and then I beat it with this. It was hella fun. Recommend if you have some raised shit out. And it really softened the butter, and it looks so satisfying, and it came right off the press and seal. I think I'd probably do the same with plastic wrap. So like I said, that is 2 sticks of butter, and our first step is that we are going to cream the sugar and butter together, and that is 3/4 of a cup of white granulated, 3/4 of a cup of brown, and 1 extra tablespoon of the granulated. I think the only good thing to come out of this quarantine is big restaurants and chains like Doubletree releasing their recipes, because I've wanted this cookie recipe for so long. I only have it. I've made these 3 times already. Fergie has been getting out under the gate. He crawls under it, and I just have a sixth sense about it. It's happened twice, and today I knew he had done it, and so I was screaming all over for him. I run out in the front. It's like your heart stops, you know, because you're so scared that something's happened to them. And luckily, my tenant upstairs was holding him because he was running in the road, and he got scared and ran to her. So he is fine, but he gave me a heart attack, and I'm still recovering from it.
That's why we're stress baking.
You don't need a stand mixer to do this. Obviously, if you just have what are they called? Like a hand mixer?
Yeah,
that would totally work.
Hand beaters.
Y'all, I also realized in my last video, I don't think I enunciated a single sentence. It was like, blah, 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 blah. So I apologize. I'm really trying to work on my enunciation. I swear I enunciate better on Kinda Cute, my podcast. I wish I could wing, but I can't. But you should check it out anywhere you listen to podcasts. All right, so next up, I'm just gonna use this little bowl to rest my spatula. We have our other wet ingredients. So this is 2 eggs, a teaspoon and a half of vanilla, and a 1/4 teaspoon of lemon juice. I swear the lemon juice is like the secret ingredient to this, because not a lot of chocolate chip cookie recipes call for lemon, but this one does. So we're gonna mix this up. It's gonna get nice and fluffy and smooth. I also recommend, if you're over 21, having a little side drink. I have some kumquat cider. Delish. And wash your hands while you cook. I'm just trying to live my best Claire Saffitz lifestyle and hope that this video is less chaotic than my other cooking one where I made scallion pancakes. It was one of my first videos, and I was trying to make Bon Appetit scallion pancakes, and I was filming it myself, and everything that could go wrong kind of went wrong, and I didn't know what I was doing with the filming aspect of it, but they turned out delicious, and I ate all of them in a day. This is about how you want your wet ingredients in your creamed butter to look. And then, next up, we're going to add our dry ingredients, and this is oats, cinnamon, baking soda, and flour. Actually, I think I know the ingredients, but it's probably easier if you guys, I'll link the recipe down below so you have the exact on that. And you can just add them all in at once. Just make sure when you start, if you have a stand mixer or even a other type of mixer, that you start it low so that your flour doesn't, I also have another tip. I always like to bake with a scale, especially when I'm measuring flour, because flour is sort of notoriously hard to measure. So I really love having a scale, and this is super easy to use, and you can just put a bowl on it and it can zero down, it'll zero with the bowl on it and see this is measuring in grams. and then you put the flour in. And it's just like a really easy way to accurately measure your dry ingredients. And a lot of times American recipes don't have the gram conversion, but you can just Google like what is 2 1/4 cups of flour, 2 grams. So I actually did that for this. This was 282 grams of flour that I used. And it's easier, like with sugar and stuff, it doesn't matter as much. It's just with flour, it can get packed down when you're scooping it out. So if you don't have a scale, when you're measuring your flour, you want to take your cup and you want to spoon the flour into it so that the flour doesn't get packed down. Like, I think I work for Doubletree. I don't, but you know, a girl can pretend, okay? So you just want to make sure everything is combined. This looks pretty good. I'm just gonna give it, once I've scraped it down, one more go. All right, that should be perfect, I think. So at this point, you can take it off. Just want to scrape out all that goodness. Guys, I've said it before, like I don't know how cooking hosts do it. It's really hard to multitask and be engaging and like talk to the camera. Just how do they do it all? I don't know. I know they have help, and I know it's very produced, and it's not like they're doing it live. But even this, it's like, I'm not gonna take multiple cuts, because then what do you do if you mess up? Like, the step is already done. That's probably why they have multiple steps like already done. They, you know how they always have the cookies already done and they like pull them out of the oven magically, like right as they put in their cookies. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kenzie?
No, exactly.
Right?
No, they do like, I feel like they do like 3 different
batches that are at different points.
So it's like, so here's all the dry ingredients and this is how they look when they're mixed. Yeah.
Guys, should I have done that? I just feel like I wanted to show you how doable this stuff is, and it's very, you know, at-home cooking. You don't gotta be fancy.
You're not on the Food Network, so I think this is all right. Hate to burst your bubble, but
I know. So next up we have 1 3/4 cup, I think, of chopped walnuts. These come, oh my gosh, that's from my KitchenAid, lovely.
Oh, lovely.
I think the walnuts come, start that over. The walnuts come chopped, but I like to chop them a little bit finer, just because I think they taste better in the cookie that way.
Bailey doesn't like chunks in the cookies, really. She likes it to be pretty smooth.
I don't like chunks. I like a, you know, I like a chocolate chip. I like some mouthfeel. I just think like, it's really like brownies. Because you know how brownies are like so soft and smooth and amazing, and then you get a walnut and you're just like, oh, that kind of messed up the experience.
See, I am clearly in the minority because I love a walnut in a brownie. Like, especially when it's a gooey brownie and you get that extra little bit of crunch, like, I don't know, it's great. Especially in a brownie sundae, that's the best.
I think we can agree though that brownie a la mode, like, yeah, like a sundae is the way to go with the brownie.
Oh yeah.
And this is a whole bag of chocolate chips. I'm using Ghirardelli. And actually the recipe calls for what is usually a little bit over a bag, but who wants to buy a bag?
2 bags, yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. So 1 bag is more than enough in my opinion. You're still gonna get a super chocolatey.
You pretty much get a chocolate chip in every bite.
Oh, you get like multiple chocolate chips in every bite.
That forearm workout.
I swear I never feel weaker than when I'm trying to like whip something by hand.
Yes. I feel like that's like the main reason Bailey bought a stand mixer, so she can make like buttercream and whipped cream without having to do it.
Oh, it's the best for bread because you don't have to knead it. You can just put the, sometimes you have to knead it like a little bit by hand, but you can do 90% of it with
the bread kneader on the stand mixer.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so guys, I think that looks good. Well, this is the perfect size for these cookies. It's 3 tablespoons cookie scoop. But again, if you don't have this, you can just shape them by hand. But there is something so satisfying about scooping in here and like just getting that perfect
dollop.
And then you, oh, it's just, I mean, that is a thing of beauty. Also, these freeze really well. So what we like to do is make up 1 cookie sheet worth of them, and then we freeze, we scoop out the other portions. I put them on a plate with some parchment paper, put a little aluminum foil or plastic wrap over it, and I just stick it in the freezer like that. And then whenever you want, you can cook a sheet full of them. And they make about, I think it's 26 or 24 cookies if you use a 3 tablespoon scoop. And then they're gonna go in the oven for about 20 minutes, but it kind of depends on how like crispy and done you like them and how your oven is. So you kind of have to experiment with that a little bit. Now, I'm not saying you guys should eat raw eggs, but I am gonna tell you that having these pre-cut up and like ready to go in the freezer makes it very easy to grab a little cookie dough situation. And Kinsey and I both agree that they are pretty bomb straight out of the freezer. Kenzie's shaking, nodding her head. They're ready to go in the oven. We've preheated at 300. Gargi barks every time we open or close the oven. It's wonderful.
And we have a timer for 20 minutes.
Drink break. Okay, so I think you're ready to come out now. I did 21 minutes because we like them a little bit underdone. Like we could definitely do another minute on those, but
who wants a crunchy cookie? Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, next up we have Disney's Dole Whip. They're famous for this. I'm more of a citrus swirl girl. Controversial opinion, but that's my favorite thing. It's at Frontierland in Magic Kingdom.
Adventureland.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I swear I'm a real fan.
Well, Adventureland and Frontierland are right next to each other,
yeah, okay,
so
I need some slack on that. And I have an issue with this because I'm like, is Disney scamming us all? Because their Dole Whip is vegan. So I do not think this is at all what they use. I think they must get a vegan like packet that comes from Dole. That's one of those liquid things that they like pour in an ice cream container and the ice cream makes it.
Yeah.
Because I just don't, I'm not doing it this way. And this isn't vegan. Like you could make this vegan if you had vegan vanilla ice cream. But Haagen-Dazs vanilla is the best, so that's what we're gonna use. And it's 2 cups of frozen pineapple, and I just used a bag like from the store, but you could do it fresh too. And then 4 ounces of pineapple juice, and then a heaping scoop of vanilla ice cream. I'm also gonna throw in a little salt because I think anything like this, it brings out the flavor if you just put like a little pinch of salt in. That's like, it's in cookies and stuff too, you know. I also like to use an immersion blender instead of a real blender because my blender sucks, and this just in my mind is easier and I don't have to clean all the pieces. Okay, so another thing that I thought would be more helpful than how they said to do it was it said you could just blend all the ingredients together, but the thing is when you're blending, it creates heat and it heats it up, and I didn't want the ice cream to melt or the whole thing to get too melty, so that's why I just did the liquid and the frozen pineapple to start, because I thought that might help like with consistency issues. All right, so I think we are good to put in our vanilla. Oh, I'm gonna do, like I said, a little dash of salt. Pretty sure I have another ice cream scoop since we used the other one for the, I mean, is that considered a heaping scoop? Okay, and now I think I'm gonna try to just mix this in by hand, because again, I really don't want it to get too, and what do you think? Do you think I should blend it?
Blend it a little bit.
I've also been making pina coladas. We've been making a lot of alcoholic smoothies like on the weekends, and we can sit by the pool and it's so nice. And I think I've perfected them, and I used Smitten Kitchen's recipe, and I kind of just sub out various different fruits and whatever. You can kind of go ham with customizing it, but it's really, really good. I also like to add a little, hers doesn't call for milk, but I like to add a little, sorry. I like to add a little milk to it to smooth out.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna blend it a little more because I feel some
Chunks.
So everything kind of blends in. I pick my clothes based on blending it because Kinsey can vouch, they call me Pigpen, not because I'm like unhygienic, like I'm very hygienic. I just struggle with keeping my clothes and my like white couches clean because I always have self-tan everywhere, and anyone relate? Okay, now the trick is we're going to put this in like a Ziploc baggie. I wish I had an actual pastry bag with like a star tip, but we're just gonna put it in a Ziploc baggie and squirt it out so we get that nice like swirl. It still looks pretty good, right?
Yeah. Voila.
Taste test.
We're gold. We're gold.
Big one bite.
It's the Princess Diaries.
It is very good. I mean, like it's not exactly Dole Whip, but it's really good. All right, guys. So we're moving on to the Shake Shack cheese sauce, which I've actually never had because I think I've only had Shake Shack once, and I don't think I got cheese sauce, but I did have their fries. And I thought the best way to recreate them would be with crinkle cut or Ida fries. I think they don't use like a seasoned one, I don't think. They just use a plain potato, but these looked good to me, extra crispy, seasoned crinkles. So I'm just preheating the oven and just making these according to the bag. Now I chopped up some jalapenos, and now I'm gonna chop up some onion. I'm actually having this recipe because we don't need that much cheese sauce. And my trick for cutting onions is always just cut off this little bottom nub, but leave the top part intact and cut it in half. And that way, I really think it helps reduce tears. I learned that on TikTok, guys. Whoever said TikTok can't teach you things, they were old and wrong. Some not canola. It calls for canola, but I'm using avocado oil because we don't have canola. I'm heating that up in a cast iron pan, and then you just cook these till translucent. I will show you how that goes. You can see it's getting translucent now. And then we want to, once it's translucent, we're gonna deglaze the pan with vinegar and white wine. Tablespoon, I don't know, we're just winging it. We're gonna do that. I swear we drink better wine than 2 Buck Chuck. We just,
we use that as our cooking wine. I highly suggest actually buying just a cheap wine to use as your cooking. They say you shouldn't cook with what you wouldn't drink, but I guess I would drink this. It's not the worst.
It's not.
I think it's a good cooking wine, actually.
So we want to let this go till the liquid reduces. It like cooks off. Okay, so if you can see now, the liquid is pretty much all reduced down. We're gonna pour in the cream and then turn off the heat. And it says to let this sit for 30 minutes. Okay, so as you can see, this is like reduced down a lot, and it says they want you to strain out the solids, which I don't really know why we have to do that, but I'm just gonna follow their directions. So this pan is super hot, and me holding it by the, oh my gosh, Gurgi hair gets in everything, I swear. Oh. This is just like deteriorated as this video is going on.
I feel like we've lost so much cream by straining out the onion.
Well, we're gonna put them back in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we're just gonna melt this down. Oh, so that was like half cheddar, half white American, because orange American's nasty. I mean, so is white American. They're both nasty, but they help to keep things like this really smooth, yeah, and like milty. They keep them milty, because you know how like if you melt cheeses, a lot of times they clump together, and this helps keep it smooth. So this is what we got, and actually I just double checked the recipe, and they don't put the jalapenos and onions back in, but that seems like such a waste. So for the purpose of the picture, I'm not gonna put them back in, but don't worry, Kenzie and I are gonna eat them because it sounds good. Oh, a little cheesy pour. Oh yeah. Okay, that looks pretty bomb. Taste test.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not really like a cheese sauce kind of girl, honestly, but that was pretty good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked everything we made today. I probably have food in my mouth, and I had fun. I'll see you next week. Bye!